Hello, people. How are you doing? I hope you're doing great. Today, our class will talk about assessment. Um, and we're going to discuss about the concept of assessment, different types of assessment, which ones are most used, which ones are less used, which ones students used to like more than the others. We're going to discuss a little bit critically about assessment. First of all, uh, we get a definition of assessment is the process of systematically gathering information as part of an evaluation. So evaluation is a broader term. So evaluation is bigger than assessment. Assessment is a moment. Why evaluation? Let's do like that. Okay, an analogy. Assessment is an image, a picture, whilst um, evaluation is a movie. So assessment is a frame of the movie, right? That refer to all of the methods used to find out what happens as a result of using the specific intervention or practice. So you can see here uh, is a picture of TOEFL, is test of English as a foreign language. So the test of TOEFL is an assessment. So tests are generally assessments because it's just a moment. You do something. But evaluation should be wider, broader way of, for example, an evaluation would be I get the TOEFL, I'll do an interview, I will check the documents. So all of these comprise the evaluation, but assessment is a specific moment when you judge if the student got something or no or didn't get something. The most common assessment is the written test, administered on paper or computer as an e-exam. As you can see now, for example, during these quarantine times, we are doing our tests in a Google formulary. So, as we say here, computer, I guess some of you can do it by smartphones. I'm not very sure because my smartphone is a bit dumb in a way. So in this kind of test, respond to specific items by writing or typing. So in our case, in the Google formulary, you have to tick the right answer, the proper answer, could say, to get the grade. Um, in some tests, where knowledge of many constants or technical terms is required to effectively answer the questions, such as chemistry or biology, some test developers they allow to bring a cheat sheet. What is a cheat sheet? A cheat sheet is a piece of paper where you have some uh, formulas, some questions, you have some accountings, you have some concepts to help you to do your test. Because in this situation, when the developer gives you permission to access this cheat sheet, it means they will make a more critical question. It's not just right or wrong, and is right or wrong why. Okay, so in this, or for example, in English language test, uh, if I do a test, I don't say to my students to use a dictionary, but I don't say to not use also. So it's up to the student. I prefer you not use a dictionary because when you don't use a dictionary, you have to use your own vocabulary. I think is better for the development. We have here an oral test or oral exam where we have an examiner that poses questions to the student in spoken form. Student has to answer the question and has to show enough knowledge of the subject. Uh, and oral exam also helps reduce, although it does not eliminate, the risk of granting a degree to a candidate who has had the thesis or dissertation ghostwritten by an expert. In this case, we're talking about thesis and dissertation. We are talking about the dissertation is related to the master degree, while the thesis is related to a doctor degree. So, and we know this happened. Unfortunately, some people pay for pay somebody to do their thesis or dissertation, they get from internet, wherever. And so when you do an oral test in these situations, and I remember when I did my master, it was like these three people making questions, and I have to answer them. And uh, it's another way to check if the students know what he's talking about. And one thing is interesting is like, oh, I had done many tests in many situations. One thing that is very good is when your oral presentation is similar to your written presentation. This is something people love to see because first it confirms that you were the writer who did the text, and also it shows that you are so much into what you're studying that it doesn't matter if it's oral or if it's written, you can deliver in a good way. Okay, in the two situations before, I was talking more about individual tests, but we also have group tests, and we have a large group of people, more than one. There are many benefits that are associated with this test, but also there are some issues when you do group tests. I think some of you had experienced that in the first trimester that we had a group work, and in some cases it worked properly, in other cases it didn't work very well. I get some emails from students said that one member didn't work, another member just left the group without saying. Some member was sent to do something and didn't do it. So group test is difficult because dealing with people is difficult too. So when you deal with yourself is already difficult. Can you imagine with a lot of people? And here we have the types of tests. What is the advantages and disadvantages of each type of assessment? And here we have a picture of Mr. Bean trying to cheat on an exam, right? You see, he's trying to get the answers for his for the guy who is by his side, right? So, what are the advantages of doing written tests? The disadvantages of this test, oral tests. What's good? For example, for some people, those people who are shy, most of the times they don't like to do oral tests because they have to speak, right? And some of them, not even in Portuguese, they want to speak. I know what I'm talking about. Uh, but sometimes you're gonna need to do this, and it's no choice. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of have no choice or have choice. Sometimes you have no choice. Um, Group test. So, what's good about group test? What's bad about group test? Um, and you see, I'm gonna check that any one of them, all of them, uh, they have good things and bad things. It depends on what you want. Depends on the people who are uh, making the test. Depends on the intentions for that. And so this is some examples for you. We're gonna keep on talking about this subject. Uh, in a different way in the next classes that are coming. Okay, so nice to see you virtually, of course, and see you later. Bye bye.